Good morning and welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Vicki Green. Have you ever thought about changing careers or starting a new career or finishing a degree or going back to school a bit later in life, like your late 20s, your 30s, your 40s, 50s, older, and thought, how can I work and go to school? Well, the number of people feeling that way may be larger than you think. So to discuss the topic of professional studies, the school work-life balance, are my guests. First is Mary Ellen Mahoney from Becker College here in Worcester. She is the Dean of the School of Graduate and Professional Studies. Welcome, Mary Ellen.
Thank you, Vicki. Good morning.
So excited to be here with you. And you've brought some terrific people with you because we've been chatting before we went on the air. We have Maureen Zaromsky, I said it right? Who graduated with a BA. She went back to school. She's going to tell her story. Welcome. And Jennifer Mosen, who is also from Worcester, and you are in your...
I'm in my senior year.
Senior year of college, so you're in your 20s.
I'm 24.
Okay, so, but you didn't go directly from high school to college.
No, I took some time off.
So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
So let's start with Maureen. Okay, so Maureen, we're going to talk about what Becker has to offer on a graduate level and professional studies. Can you define for me professional studies?
Yes, sure. So professional studies is for adults who want to finish their bachelor's degree. 84 million people in the United States, adults, have a high school diploma, but they don't have a bachelor's degree. So at Becker, we have a lot of different programs, including business, psychology, criminal justice, RN to BSN, early childhood, for adults who want to advance in their career or even change careers.
Okay, so what about the difference between, and we're going to get to everybody's story here, at Becker, the online requirements and the in-person, what is that like? Because I know personally, having looked at, I have a master's, but I've looked at trying to get a certificate or maybe change my focus and want to go back to school. And there's a lot of schools that offer a lot of different mix and matches. So what is Becker's mix and match of coursework?
So we try to make it as flexible as possible because no two adults are the same. No one has the same responsibilities at home or the activities they have to do. So we offer both on campus because there are a number of students that like to be in a classroom setting, learning in that arena with the teacher right there, and online so that you can be at home at 3 o'clock in the morning if that's when you have your time to study, and you can do your work that way. So we have both. We offer both, and trying to make it as much of an opportunity for students to have access to our courses.
Okay, so the online portion, I was found fascinating because you and I were talking about this. You can do a 5-week or 7-week for one course, so however many credits that is?
That's true, and that's also true on campus. So a student can come in and take a 5-week course and finish it, 3 credits. And so they're moving, they're accomplishing things, they're learning materials. It's not stretched out over the traditional 15-week semester, which is too long for an adult in this day and age. And so we offer the 5-week and also the 7-week. Some courses are a little longer. It depends on the course, but for the most part, our students love those.
Okay. So, again, we're talking about Becker College, which is got 2 campuses, but the main campus is in Worcester, and they also have a campus in Leicester. Tell me about what you see as the reasons that people should think about, because we're going to talk to Jennifer and Maureen about their cases and why they decided to go back and finish their degree. But what are some of the things you hear people saying? You've been here since only a few months, right?
Right, since November.
Yeah, and you came from Pennsylvania.
I came from Pennsylvania. I worked first in adult ed in Allentown, and then I worked at St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia. That was the last place I was before I came to Becker.
What made you want to come up to Becker and to this area?
I was really excited about the idea that Becker was putting together and launching a school of graduate and professional studies because they recognize the importance of the adult student. And obviously it's demographics. The adult population is bigger and the high school population is shrinking. But also Becker's really made a great attempt to integrate the adult student into the support network and the culture of the community. So when I heard about that, my passion has been adult education for a long time. My parents were post-traditional, is the new term for adult learner, post-traditional.
Oh, post-traditional instead of adult or older?
Right. Because traditional is 18 to 22-year-olds, and they're considered adults as well in this society if we think about it. So it's post-traditional. They were that way. I did the same thing. I went traditional student, then I graduated. I decided then to change my career after I stayed home with my children. I went back to school then. I decided to advance in my career, and I went back to school at 49. So definitely adults have a triggering event usually. That's something that affects them, that makes them think it's time for me to go back to school. And then they go back. So that's what I hear from, especially here in Worcester, where there's great opportunity now, growth in the economy and development of all sorts of industries. So when I'm out in the community, that's what I'm hearing, that we need an educated workforce in Worcester, and we have a great population here. And so Becker's ready to help that group.
Now, you told me a story. We're going to get to Jennifer next, but you told me a story about when you originally saw that this job was open, that your sister had sent you
Right.
an
So
article.
I saw the job was open, and I was excited about a new school. And I talked to my family about taking it. I grew up in Connecticut, so this is really like coming home for me. I love being back in New England. It's amazing. It's really great. And when I accepted the job, I wasn't familiar with Worcester, I have to say. And my sister sent me an article that said, forget about Hoboken, forget about Oakland. Worcester is the new it city.
That's right.
And so as I read that, it was really exciting, on top of how I already felt about coming because of the school, really exciting to come to Worcester at this time. And from what I hear from everyone, there's just a great sense of pride that's always existed in Worcester, but really now people are excited about the change and the growth that's coming to the city.
Right. Okay. So let me ask Jennifer, and we're going to get to Jennifer and Maureen now. So Jennifer, why don't you tell me your story about how you ended up at Becker?
Okay. So I graduated high school in 2012, and before I even graduated, I didn't think I was going to graduate. I honestly thought that because of how much I was slacking in high school, and my classes were, like, I was getting average grades, and sometimes here and there I'll get a fail. And then, like, since I'm first generation here, like, graduating high school and all that stuff, I thought that college wasn't for me because my parents didn't get to go to college, unfortunately. So when I graduated high school, I started working. So then I decided, okay, so college is not in the books for me. I'll just continue to work. So finally, my parents spoke up about, okay, you should go back to
Your
college.
parents did?
Yes, they did. So they're like, they've actually always told me to go back to college, but then the financial stuff came in and all this stuff. So then I decided to go to a community college, which I was not, I wasn't doing much there. Like
You weren't
I wasn't
motivated?
inspired. Yeah, motivated is the right word. So then I was taking time off from college too. So then I decided, you know what, I need to do something. I need to focus. I need to get motivated. So I was looking at many colleges, and Becker like caught my eyes. So I called and I spoke to the lady in the admissions office, and she was so helpful. Instead of just like being like, oh, you haven't gone to school in this long, instead of saying that, she was like, you know what, like, come back, like, we'll get you in. Let me get all your information, your transcripts. It was like she was doing all the work for me. Like, all I had to do was deliver whatever she needed.
So they made it very easy for you.
Very easy.
And your parents, it's interesting that your parents backed you. Maybe they were kind of, that often happens. You hear parents want to live vicariously through their children. I do it, not about college, but I'd like to see her do, I like watching her do things. Maybe they said, well, we didn't get the chance, so
Right, exactly.
you should.
Yes, and they always wanted me to go to college. It was just that my fear was, oh, financially, my grades, and I'm not motivated. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to study. And I told the lady in the admissions office, I was like, I really don't know what I want to study. And she told me, she's like, you know what, sky's the limit when it comes to professional studies and stuff like that. So she finally got me in with an advisor, and the advisor was very, very aware of the kind of student I am. Like, I have to be motivated. I have to take it one step at a time. I can't just take 5 classes or something like that. So I started off with 1 class a semester.
While you were working.
While I was working,
Okay.
because I work full-time as well, yes. And then I started with 1 class a semester, and then I started seeing my grades rise, and I kept a consistent grade, and then my GPA started to go up. And I got really motivated at that point that I was kind of taking a little bit more classes. So every time that I saw myself doing better, I'd be like, all right, I'm ready for more. And it was very motivational. And now I'm taking 6 classes a semester. And
While working?
While working.
6 classes?
Yes, I do half online, half in
See, that's
school.
the great thing about Becker having
And
the online.
that is the great thing about the 5 weeks courses, because, like, let's say in like 5 weeks, I'll take 1 class online and 1 class in school, and the professors are more understanding than anyone because they know that like people that go for accelerated programs are usually people that have kids, have a job. They need some time to figure their life out. So, and every professor I've spoken to and I've had an issue or I couldn't like get a paper in on time, they were very understanding. They were like, no, we get it. Just try to get it in as soon as you can.
So what are you going to be graduating with, and are you going to go for a career in that field?
So I am graduating in a bachelor's in psychology, and then as far as my master's goes,
Oh, you want a master's
I
now?
want a master's.
See that?
Yes, see, it's very motivational. I am not quite sure what I want a master's in. I'm kind of in between a lot of stuff because, I always kept that in my head. Sky's the limit. So it's like I'm just trying to see what's best for me at this point. And I do work in the field of psychology right now. So, and luckily, thanks to Becker, I actually work in a psychology field because they actually turned this job and they told me like go there and work there. And my advisor gave me a what would you call it, like a referral kind of recommendation.
So your job that you're working currently is tied to the degree, and I can only imagine that having the degree might end up landing you make more money or give you more options.
Yeah.
Okay, Maureen's turn. Can you tell me, are you okay with telling me your age?
Yes. So I'm actually 55. It's very soon to
We're
be
close.
56.
We're close.
I can
That
see
feels bad.
56 from where I'm sitting right now. So we're just going with that. And if 60 is the new 30, I'm there. So
Well, we like to say that, right? So explain how you ended up. Again, we're talking from 20s, now we're in our 50s. What made you go back, and what was your life like? And why did you say, geez, Becker's, I got to go back and finish, and I'm going to go to Becker?
Yeah, so I actually, after 30 plus years of not opening a textbook at all, I decided to go for an online program. It was a distance program for paralegal. And I figured that was a nice little certificate to have, and it would give me some more options with work. And I did it for a while, but it wasn't a great program. There was really no support, and it was just,
Was that at Becker?
This.
No.
It was just go do this, turn things in. So I was looking around, and I actually was applying for a job. And it was a job that I had all the other skills, but I didn't meet the educational requirement. And I was actually told that I would have gotten the job had I had a bachelor's degree. So that was like the big wake-up call to get a little more involved in what I was doing. So I started looking around, and I was looking at different programs, and I looked on Becker's website. And the company that I had left, I actually used to work at Fallon Health, and Christine Cassidy had gone through the Becker program, and I knew her.
Who was in administration there?
Yeah, and her biography was up on the website. And
On the Becker website?
On the Becker website, and her journey through Becker was on the website, and her age was there, and it said that she was 54, and I went, well, now I don't have an excuse. There's someone I know
Can't
who's
use
my
age.
I can't say no to this. So I called, and the day after I called, someone from admissions called me, and I was in there that afternoon, and the next day I was sitting with an advisor registering for a class.
Now, what made you're from Worcester, because we were talking about this before the show. Did you have a family? What made you not go to college right out of high school?
So I got married young, divorced young, children young, married a second time, and I always managed to have a job that met the bills. I was the worker. My husband was the career. I was the make sure I have health insurance and kind of keep the boat moving in a forward direction.
Which I think is true for a lot of women.
Yeah, and career wasn't really something that you either had one and you went to college when you were 20, because at my age, that's what you did. You went high school, college, career, or you went high school, marriage, kids, life. So there were two paths.
So when did you finish at Becker?
So I graduated last May, and I did the program much like Jennifer here. I started out with one class. I took one class, thought that wasn't so bad, did pretty good, went back for another one. And I said, I'm just going to do them one at a time. I finished a year ahead of schedule.
Wow.
So I actually finished the program in 2.5 years instead of 3.5 that it should have taken me, because I had a half years of credit.
And that was about, they give you credit. You get credit, right, for work, life. We're going to get to that in a minute,
Yeah.
but you get credit for some of the work that you've done, right?
Yes. So I got credit for all the work that I had done in the prior program, which
Okay.
was good.
That's great. So when you took one at a time, you were working during the day.
Yep.
Were your kids old enough that they were kind of independent?
One was in high school, so I had one in high school playing football and rugby and in scouts. So I was like camping on weekends and doing homework and
In the tent, you've got your book and your flashlight. and
yeah. I was writing papers at 3:00 in the morning before work and whenever it was. So
But
I
you
would
enjoyed
squeeze
it,
out.
right?
But
We
I
don't want to
loved
scare
it.
anybody.
No.
You do it because you like it. I mean, and then you were able to work it into your schedule.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you found the professors very helpful and understanding. As Jennifer said, it makes sense. Anytime they're working with people with lives and families and other things that they're doing, they're more understanding of that.
Oh, they were fantastic. Not only were the professors fantastic, but the whole Becker community, like even the students in the program, like we all help each other. We all know, like, what's coming up and did you take this class? And if you do, then I have notes that I'll share with you. I also used a lot of the resources that were available for students too. So I used the tutoring program. I actually had a full-time undergrad student tutor me in algebra.
And that didn't scare you either, right?
It
You're not saying like you're
terrified
you're the age of my but age.
No, the age difference.
The ages, you're all the same, and it's all one thing.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go back to Mary Ellen for a second. So, Mary Ellen, hearing these wonderful stories, you're beaming with pride, I'm sure, in what you do and passion for what you do. And obviously, these are two great instances, and I'm sure people listening can identify with this. Again, just to bring everybody back, if you're just joining us, we're talking with Mary Ellen Mahoney, who is the dean at Becker College, the dean of the School of Graduate and Professional Studies, and we have two students, one that just graduated, and Maureen is 54 years old, and then we have Jennifer, who's in her 20s, who is finishing this year, but they both came from work and went to adult learners. So, Mary Ellen, what is the time commitment like, and what do you think people are thinking of when they think of, well, I go online, why would Becker stand out? Why, there's so many choices that we have if we live in this area, and especially with online, you can almost go anywhere. What's the great thing about Becker that people should understand versus, we're not, every other school, it's a big community in Worcester. If people live here, they know. We have many, many colleges in the area, anywhere between 9 and 12, depending on what area you count, but there's a million. And you share, your campus in Worcester is right next to WPI. And I think there's a lot of probably sharing of brain power when you could talk about other schools. But a lot of those schools are full-time, focused on undergraduate and graduate, live on campus or live in the city. It's not as much about going back to school. So do you think that's where Becker's value comes?
I think that's it. I think that Becker recognized in the 1970s they had a continuing education program that they overhauled in 2001 to really make it much more flexible. A lot of schools have the curriculum they teach and the things that they teach to undergraduate students who are younger. And to make a change, our degree is the same. So our adult student receives the same degree as the undergraduate student. The curriculum's the same. They were just really pressing it in coming up with the online and the 5-week courses. I think that's really the difference maker. And I also think that studies nationally show that most people go to an online school that's close to their home because they know the brand. And the advantage to that is that if our student is online, we're right there in Worcester with them. We're not far away. So even if you're online and you have a question, you can pick up a phone or come in, and we're there for you. The advisors are there.
Yeah, Maureen shaking her head. And actually, that's how I felt. That's why I was looking in this area when I was looking.
And I think that we also talked about a couple of other things. One of the things is that they expressed concern about affordability. And I think that we are very competitively priced, but I think that Becker has moved ahead in the sense of educators need to partner with industry and with businesses in a community to really understand, not to just churn out graduates that don't have the skills that the businesses want. So we have a number of partnerships that offer tuition discounts, and it's important for us to make that education affordable for a couple of reasons. One, because we don't want people to have debt and no degree. And so that's why we have such a strong support system with the tutoring. We have online 24/7 tutoring. We have embedded tutors.
24/7 online? There's someone online at 2 in the morning when you're writing your paper and camping?
Yep. And
oh, my goodness.
We've got virtual tutoring that we're about to launch. So if you want to speak to someone from home at 7 o'clock at night, you're good in your pajamas, they're good in whatever, and they can talk over technology.
Are they local, most of the professors? In Massachusetts?
Yes. Yeah. Our professors are local. members of industry working, and that's what really helps as well. They said they understand the adult because they're adults working and teaching, and they've been in that situation, many of them, going back to school while they were working. So they're local industry leaders that we have bring in, and that's where the theory of what they're learning and the practice comes into play, where the students really benefit from a professor who's currently in the industry and telling them industry stories and teaching them that. The other thing is, I think that we really want to make sure that people in Worcester know us and that they get
And in the
acquainted-
region.
in the region, absolutely, not just in Worcester. But so we've partnered with the Worcester Chamber of Commerce. So that was the first thing when I came here. I realized that the chambers of commerce throughout Massachusetts are very strong in supporting their communities. And really, when you go to those meetings, you hear about what the community needs. And so one of the things was this educated workforce that kept coming up. And so we partnered with them to provide a 25% discount for anyone who is a member, who is an employee of a business that's a member of the Worcester Chamber.
All right, so let's think about this, because anyone listening, your ears should perk up now, because this is amazing to me. And other schools, many schools offer various types of scholarships, et cetera. However, this is one of the most wide-reaching that I've seen. And so I just want to take a minute so people listen to this. If you want to go back to school, you're concerned about cost. Here's one way that I think Becker has an edge here. So you're saying, Miriam, that if your company that you work for is a member of the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce, you are eligible for a 25% discount on tuition?
Yes, you and your immediate family members.
And immediate family?
Yes. So you have a son or
Wow.
a daughter, as long as it's through the School of Graduate and Professional Studies. So I think it helps in two ways. Obviously, it helps the student, but a lot of businesses in Worcester and throughout the country are small businesses, and those businesses may not be able to give a tuition reimbursement or some type of professional development benefit. And this allows them the benefit. They're paying the chamber to be members, and we're returning that in its form of a benefit that they can hand off to their employees.
Now, here's another one. Because Worcester is the Regional Chamber of Commerce. So
Right.
there are many members in there. I forget what Tim had said when Tim Murray, the president of the chamber, was here. And, I mean, there's many businesses that are all over the region. So small to large. So also you said, but this not from the region, but in the city of Worcester. If you're somebody, can you explain the city of
Sure.
Worcester? And
So-
do like police, fire, are they considered
Yes,
members?
and if you're
of
an employee of the city of Worcester, you too are eligible for a 25% discount. So we just started a criminal justice degree, and many police officers, their shifts change. And so what we've done is we put it online. So you can do it on our campus, which is not far from city headquarters, the police headquarters, obviously. If you want to come on campus and you want to learn in the classroom, you can take a class when it works for you in 5 weeks that way. But if your shift changes and you need to work nights and you can't come to class, then you can do the next class online, or you can do the entire thing online. So the same is for RN to BSN. That's entirely online.
Nursing, yeah.
Nursing, yeah. So we've really tried to build in that flexibility. And we have the same, we have partnerships for our graduate programs. So we have 2 graduate programs. One is an MA in mental health counseling, and the other is an MFA in interactive media. And so with
Is that what they're calling it, interactive media?
Right. Interactive media is anything where a user interacts with the technology.
So while Becker, I must say, because I did a whole show on this, is internationally in the top 10 consistently, even sometimes the top 5, depending on what list you look at the video gaming industry. And I had 2 students involved in that, and the Mass Digi, which is the Mass Digital, oh geez, it's going to get me now, involved in Mass Digital Games. And I can't even remember what Digi stands for at the moment. However, everyone knows it as Mass Digi. And that Becker got a lot of publicity over the fact that they were here talking about a degree in esports management. They're one of the very few. And from a branding perspective, no matter what program you're in Becker, that's a wonderful thing anytime your school succeeds. So when you can get a master's in fine arts, I think one of the students I had was doing a double. He was doing his bachelor's, and then he was getting credit
Right.
to go into the MFA program,
Right.
so that he can get even more money to go and I think one person was in designing the games, and one was actually into management.
Right. So the MFA in interactive media really allows the student who is in that field to develop a portfolio. So the classes are just 1 day a week, and then the other time is spent in studio. So that makes it really manageable if you're working a full-time job. A lot of our students who are not in our 4+1 program, and I'll explain that in a minute, but people who are coming to do the degree, they work with their employer and they have that day where they can do their schoolwork. And the MFA is a terminal degree, so you can teach. It's like a PhD in the sense of in that there's no degree above that for someone who's in that field. So, and we have a 4+1 program where our undergraduates who come in to game design and our other majors can choose then to do it. They do 3 years of their undergraduate work. They do a year in their senior year of graduate work, and they finish their degree then as a graduate student with 1 more year. Our MA in mental health counseling has the same way. It's a 4+1. If you want to come to Becker as an undergraduate in psychology, you then can finish your master's degree with 1 more year of study.
So Jennifer, you could go back and finish. You could go back and you could stay at Becker to get your master's. Have you considered that?
I could, yes, and I was looking at their like master's degree ideas, and I mean a lot of things like really clicked in my mind. I'm just trying to see what I'm really passionate about in order to be able to further a master's degree.
Yeah, and the wonderful thing about where you are is it offers so many opportunities, especially now that you've returned. You can take any undergraduate degree, you can take a certificate program, you can take a professional studies, you can go into a graduate field. And I think the neat thing, which I didn't know until I talked to Mary Ellen, was that, and I know it's for graduate, but again, graduate studies for mental health, they have a community counseling center where they actually get hands-on practice on campus, right? The
Right.
public can come in and get counseling.
The public can come in, so it's there for the community at a really affordable price for counseling. But it's the only program in Massachusetts, the MA in mental health counseling, that has the students who work in that clinic under licensed mental health counselors
Right.
supervising them. But they get that experience before they go out to do an internship, and then it helps them so much on their resume when they go to get a job. And so with that program, we have 100% job placement, and every one of
100%?
Yes, and every one of our graduates has come back and said that that clinical experience really made the difference for them. That's where you're doing the theory with the practice, and it's really helped them. So we're really proud of that program, and U Inc. and Community Link, Health Link, and those are places too where we have the partnerships so that people working in that field who'd like to come back and do their master's degree are eligible for that discount.
Yeah, so because I'm sure this is in your mind all the time, but City of Worcester employees, Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce company member, any member company, if you work for one, Community Health Link, Fallon, another big one. We talked about the City of Worcester. Now what about veterans?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So that's another population, and I think that's really interesting, right? My dad was a veteran and went back on the GI Bill, so there are the veterans benefits that students can use to come back to school, and we really love to support them with that.
Now that's huge. Just for all those people, because I think you're in that age group. You and I are similar age. And my mom went back, I would say, when, I don't know if she wants me to say this, but I would say maybe 40s. And she went back to a school closer to Boston that had a continuing ed program. And then she went on and got her licensure she went somewhere else for her master's. But again, she had stayed home with us, you know? And then when we went to high school, we were independent driving. She thought, okay, what do I really want to do? And she had already had an undergrad degree, but wanted to take a totally different course. So what would your advice be to someone who's listening as we wrap up that might be in their 50s, their kids are starting to go away to school, or they're working and they're not living at home, to take control of maybe their own life or a way to make more money or change career?
So I think it boils down to a very simple statement that was actually said to me when I have a mentor that said to me, go into this program, and at the end of 5 weeks, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to finish a course or 5 weeks is going to pass. At the end of the day, it's the same 5 weeks. So whatever you do with it, make it something that you want to do.
Okay. And Jennifer, my daughter graduated from high school last year, is in college, but she had one of her best friends just said, college isn't for me. I'm not sure what I want to do, but I know that being a full-time student right now is not the right thing. So she went to work, just like you did.
Right.
So what would your advice be to kids that are not kids, they're adults, but in their 20s who decided right out of high school, I don't want to go to college, but now I kind of think I do? What would you say?
I don't think it's a bad idea personally to take time off if you're not sure what you want to do, because obviously college costs money and you don't want to sit there and take classes that you don't need because you don't know what you want to do. I would suggest is talk to an advisor, talk to someone, go to schools, talk to advisors, see what they say, and also talk to your family. I feel like family is they know you the best. And I took time off, and it was really a reality check for me to realize what I wanted to do and what was best for me at that point. And I don't regret it at all. I mean, I know I went back to school and I was already like 22 and stuff like that, but
Hey, listen, Maureen's 50 and sitting with you, and you guys are all sitting with
yeah.
18 and
Well,
19-year-olds,
then
so
when,
hey.
When I realized that, because I look back and I'm like, wow, like all these kids that I went to high school with are graduating college at the age of 23, and I'm still trying to like go in there.
But you're happy.
Yes, I'm happy, and I think I made a good decision, because if I had gone to college maybe out of high school, I would have done something that I didn't like and I didn't enjoy doing. So
Or you might have failed and you might have not
Exactly.
been motivated. Okay, Mary Ellen, we're going to finish up with you. The open house is coming up March 12th, and it's at the Worcester campus.
That's right.
And do people go online to find out about that?
Yes, so they can go to becker.edu/GPS for graduate professional studies, so GPS.
Or just becker.edu and they'll
Right,
find it.
and it's there. And so they can register for the event. We'd love to have them come and learn more about us. Just like these students say, it really changes their lives and transforms them. And I think it's important that everyone have that chance to do that.
Thank you so much for coming in. I think anybody listening, if you're worried about finances, you know someone or someone in your family or yourself, you're saying, gee, I really think I want to make a change, or if I get this certificate, maybe I can make more money and advance quicker in my current job. There's so many reasons people think about going back to school. There's a myriad of choices. Becker College is here in Worcester. Again, it's the the School of Graduate and Professional Studies. I'd like to thank you very much. The Dean of that school, Mary Ellen Mahoney.
Thank you, Vicki. I
Thank
really
you for
enjoyed
this.
this.
Is
I
great
appreciate it.
conversation. Oh, I love talking about education. Jennifer Mosten, who's a current student graduating from Becker this year, who went back after working. I appreciate you coming in, Jennifer.
Thank you.
And then Maureen, you can lean in here. Thank you again, Maureen Zaromsky. You graduated last year. You're working. You're doing well. You're both very happy, it looks like.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm glad that you chose Becker and that everybody's here. And let's hope for the best. And again, if you're listening, go to becker.edu if you want more information about the open house coming up on March 12th. If you're interested in going back to school, they're calling it Professional Studies, so it's the School of Graduate and Professional Studies. I'm Vicki Green. That's Community Conversations. Have a wonderful day. Wonderful day. Wonderful day. Wonderful day.